In 1870, a quiet bookkeeper from Cleveland started an oil company. Within 20 years, he controlled 90% of the oil in America. Not most of it, 90%. His name was John D. Rockefeller, and he became, by most measures, the richest self-made man who has ever lived. Richer than any billionaire alive today, adjusted for the size of the economy. Today, how he actually did it, and why the playbook was so effective, they had to change the laws of the country to stop him. To understand Rockefeller, you have to understand what oil was in the 1860s. It was chaos. Oil had just been discovered in Pennsylvania, and everyone was drilling. Prices swung wildly. One month, oil made you rich. The next month, it was cheaper than water. Fortunes appeared and vanished in weeks. And here is the first secret. Rockefeller looked at that chaos and made a decision that changed everything. He would not gamble on finding oil. He would own the thing every driller needed, the refining. Because every barrel of crude oil, no matter who found it, had to pass through a refinery before it was worth anything. The drillers took the risk. The refiner took the profit. That is rule one of the Rockefeller playbook. Do not chase the gold. Sell the shovels. Or better, own the only road to the market. But refining alone did not make him the richest man alive. What made him unstoppable was obsession with detail. Rockefeller was a bookkeeper at heart. He counted everything. He once found a way to save one drop of solder on every oil can, and it saved the company thousands. While competitors guessed, he knew his cost per barrel down to a fraction of a cent. He drove his costs so low that he could sell oil for less than it cost his rivals to make it, and still profit. And that is when the game turned dark. Because once Standard Oil was the biggest refiner, Rockefeller went to the railroads, the ones who shipped everyone's oil, and made them an offer. Give me a secret discount because I ship more than anyone. But he did not stop there. He demanded something called a drawback, a cut of the money the railroads earned from shipping his competitors' oil. Read that again. His rivals paid the railroad, and part of their payment went straight into Rockefeller's pocket. His competitors were funding the empire that was crushing them, and they did not even know it. With costs no one could match, Standard Oil made rivals a simple offer. Sell to me at my price, or be undersold until you collapse. Most sold. The ones who refused watched prices drop below what they could survive. Then, once they were gone, prices went right back up. Competitors called the campaign the Cleveland Conquest. In just a few months in 1872, Rockefeller bought 22 of the 26 refineries in Cleveland. Some owners went to their graves calling him a monster. Others took his stock instead of cash. And those, quietly, became some of the richest families in America. And here is the twist most people miss. It was often not even a bad deal. Rockefeller usually paid fair prices. He offered stock. He kept the best managers. He was not breaking the law because the laws did not exist yet. Nobody had ever built anything this big. The word for what he built had to be invented. The trust. Standard Oil's lawyers created a structure where dozens of companies in dozens of states were all secretly controlled by 9 men in one office in New York. On paper, they were competitors. In reality, one brain. It was so effective, the word trust became the word for monopoly itself. And antitrust law, the law that governs competition to this day, is literally named after the thing Rockefeller's lawyers invented. By the 1880s, Standard Oil refined about 90% of America's oil, and it touched almost every home on Earth. Kerosene lamps in China, oil cans in Europe. The sun never set on Standard Oil. And John D. Rockefeller, the quiet bookkeeper, was earning so much money that he literally could not give it away as fast as it came in. Then came the reckoning. A journalist named Ida Tarbell, whose father's oil business had been crushed by Standard Oil, spent years documenting exactly how the machine worked. The secret rebates, the drawbacks, the price wars. Her series became one of the most influential works of journalism in American history. The public turned. The government sued, and in 1911, the Supreme Court ordered Standard Oil broken into 34 separate companies. And now, the ending nobody expects. The breakup was supposed to be his punishment. It made him twice as rich. Rockefeller owned about a quarter of Standard Oil. After the breakup, he owned a quarter of 34 companies. And once they were freed from the trust, investors could finally see how profitable each piece was. The stocks soared. Those 34 pieces are still with us today. They became Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Amoco. Pieces of almost every major American oil company you can name. The empire never died. It just changed its name. So what is actually in the Rockefeller playbook? Own the bottleneck, not the lottery ticket. Know your numbers better than anyone alive. Turn your scale into discounts no one else can get. Buy your rivals instead of fighting them and pay them in ownership so they win when you win. Put everything inside a structure the rules were not written for. And when the government finally breaks it up, collect 34 fortunes instead of one. He spent the last 40 years of his life giving the money away. Universities, medical research, the foundation that helped eliminate hookworm and fund the vaccines of the next century. Which leaves you with the uncomfortable question historians still argue about. Was he the greatest monster of American business, or its greatest builder? The honest answer is yes. Both, at the same time. And that is exactly why, more than a century later, every empire you see today, from tech to shipping, is still quietly running some version of his playbook.